This is Keith Boggs with Stonebriar Property Inspections, and this is the debrief for 5132 Reed Drive. Got about 130 pictures I've taken. This first picture you see here is just a picture of the front of the house, nothing necessarily wrong, that's just for the title page of the report. Very first thing I did is I get up on the roof and check the roof, and the roof looks like it's very new. There are some issues, we're going to talk about those here in a second. But see this white paper here, called felt paper underlayment. There's different names for it. But that should be laying on top of this flashing, not underneath it. The reason for that is if any moisture makes it past the shingles for some reason, the idea is it rolls down the felt paper, which is water resistant or waterproof, and then on top of the flashing and then down to the ground. So now it's tucked underneath the flashing, so the water's going to get underneath the flashing to the wood sheathing. And over time it can cause wood rot. Now, the chance of this happening is very unlikely. I mean, I've done about 4,000 inspections, and I've seen problems from this maybe 4 or 5 times. So it is wrong, but it's not something I'm super concerned about.
Okay.
Okay, so that's another picture of the same thing. Once I start getting up on the roof, I noticed that some of the shingles are not sticking. They're only partially sticking or not sticking at all. These over to the left here under the shade, they're not sticking at all. So I'm licensed by the state of Texas, and they require us to call out something called adhesion, and that basically what it means is how well are the shingles sticking together. And so I found quite a few shingles. These are the ones under the shaded area. They're just lifting right up. Now some of them are bonding, like you can see, it's partially bonded, and a lot of them are bonded. Now when hopefully if we get warm enough here in the next few days before we get to a point where it's gone, too long. If it goes too long, that adhesive is going to get dust on it, and it's never going to stick. It's going to be like a dirty piece of tape. This doesn't stick. These are actually wind-blown shingles. Okay, so that's what can happen when the shingles don't stick. The wind can get underneath them, lift them up, and blow them. Sometimes you get a domino effect where these shingles lift up, these shingles lift up, these shingles. Basically, these are just the blown ones, just in this one area here. And I've got a video of the roof. This is more the same. Yeah, so here's the video. It's only about 1.5 minutes long. We're going to play it so we have it for your recording. It's a 3-tab shingle roof. It's not the most, it's not the highest quality roof. Probably you'll get 10 years out of it, 10, 12 years. Good thing is they're not super expensive, and the roof is not a high pitch roof. Some of these roofs are $30,000, $40,000 because they're just pitches are insane. I just started doing this because people were asking about the roof. I'm like, oh, I might just show them.
Yeah.
And overall, it's in pretty good condition. I think if we get something up there with a good eye, because when you get on the roof, you can actually look at certain angles and you can kind of go, oh, that looks like those are loose. That's basically what I do. I kind of look and I walk over there and check if it is loose.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it is loose. So, someone with a good eye can probably go up there and find the loose shingles, and you'll probably be okay. I don't think you need to replace the roof.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you could take the next step and call the roofing company out here and have them evaluate it, but the sellers are kind of probably more want you to use the one that they installed the roof. These repairs probably they'll do for free.
Yeah.
This is almost done. That's it. Okay, so this is your water meter right in the center here. This little silver thing is called a low flow indicator. And so if you turn the water on, this will start spinning around. The more water flow, the faster it spins. So one of the things that I do, also near the beginning of the inspection, is I go out to that meter and I sit there and I stare at that low flow indicator with everything off in the house and look for it to move. It's very sensitive. I mean, you just barely put the water on, like that, and this thing will slowly start creeping.
Yeah.
So it's very sensitive that they don't miss a drop. So I sit there and stare for a couple minutes. The last 30 seconds, I'll take a video of it to show you that it's not moving, so there's no supply leaks. And so we're going to play the whole thing just so you have it for this recording. It's that this basically stare right there. I usually pick a spot like near the M. And look right there, because that way you can see those really small movements. But it's sat completely still. That's almost done. There we go.
Is that at the front of the house or the back of the
That's
house?
at the front of the house.
It's at the front of
the
the
curb. Yep. Yep, by the curb. Okay, this is, you'll see some sign language in here sometimes. This is just to remind me to tell you what I want to tell you. I didn't see any double cleanouts at the front of the house. Okay, so they may be there and they're buried underneath the mulch. So what you want to do is you want to confirm with the sellers. You know, the inspector said he didn't see any cleanouts. You know, are they there and where are they at? I didn't confirm that they're there. And the reason I say that is sometime, and actually in the colony, I did a house, told the guy to confirm it, and he didn't. And then he called me back and said, I wish I would have listened to you, because I just had to pay, $3,500 for them to install cleanouts.
What are cleanouts?
For your plumbing, let's see, you have a plumbing issue.
Okay.
If one goes out to the street, one goes into here. Usually they're PVC.
Right.
Yeah, usually they're PVC, the newer ones. That's just the second part of that. All the window screens are missing. Pretty small thing, but this is one of the things the state says we have to call out. Damaged or missing window screens.
Okay.
And they are, if you only had one missing, it was $25, but you start at $25, before you know it, you got $600 worth of screens. So that, and pretty much they're all missing.
Yeah.
So I'll go there. This is a little bit of structural movement. This is some cracking. That's just right up here. The movement I've seen, it is not really that bad. I mean, I kind of agree with him. It hasn't really moved that much. I'm not sure it even needed foundation work to begin with, based on what I am seeing, because there's nothing. The one side, you got little deflections of the brick. There's nothing that indicates there was a lot of movement going on. You usually can see it inside the brick. The mortar joints, they can't hide it. There's very little movement. So, but they have some movement, and they call the foundation company out here, and their job is to sell piers.
Yeah.
So they sell them piers. When it may have just fixed it by putting the drainage in. It could have been just a matter of managing moisture. I gotta be careful. That was hot earlier. This is just a repair. This is a corner pop that they've repaired. That's not structurally significant. So there'll be a comment in the report stating that I couldn't see this part of the foundation because there's a bunch of bricks there. I don't think there's anything there.
Yeah.
But okay, this is your drain line off of your water heater, and you can see how it's wet. So it looks like that TPR valve is going bad. On top of that, the water heater is 30 years old, and it looks like it's starting to leak. I'll show you in a minute. It's just down there. So this is your condenser. This looks new. This is some of this information is just for me. I use this to look at the panel box with the max breaker to make sure they match, and they did. This is also a little video, so you can get an idea of what the condenser sounds like today and what it should continue to sound like. Turn it louder. I'll start over. So if there's any odd sounds, like 2 years from now, it seems like it sounds odd to you, you can pull out this video and kind of listen to it. So it sounds about the same, or no, it doesn't sound the same.
Yeah.
That way you're not calling an HVAC guy out here. This is the only deflections of the brick that are separating a little bit, and that's on this one side over here. You can see the stair step in right there.
Yeah.
And that may have been, the house may have been built that way. It could have been a defect from day one. Some of the siding looks like it has some wood rot. It's pretty minimal. I'd say probably 98% of the siding and the trim looks good. That's just where it's at there. This is some more repointing, it's called. You can see the cracking there. Again, especially near windows and doors. That's why they always call out on the commercial. They're like, you're cracking on windows or doors? That's a weak spot. You have cracking there because it's a weak spot.
Yeah.
And it's going to move. So that's where you're going to see the cracking. Generally, those kind of cracks aren't even structurally significant. This is a piece of trim, and again, it looks a little rotten. but most of the trim looks great.
Just real quick, so that one, where was that piece that you said was from?
Yeah.
The side?
Yep. I thought I took a picture, put it far back. Yes, see the window here. This is the back window.
Okay.
Right above that back here.
Right above the master.
These are some pier patches. This is just showing that there was some foundation work, which we already know.
Mm-hmm.
You got 4 or 5 inside the garage. This, I don't know if you can see this, missing a cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is something that won't be in the report. You can install a cover.
Yeah.
Same thing here. Actually, this needs to be replaced. It's cracked. It's broken.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that one needs to be replaced. So that will be in the report. Garage door, couldn't attach the garage door opener because it's not attached to the garage. The bracket is right there.
Oh, huh.
So it goes back and forth, but we don't know if it operates properly because it's not attached to the door. So that's something that will be in the report. That's something you'll want to have fixed. This is just for me, so I know I document that how many amps in the panel box and the manufacturer. That's for me. This is the inside of the panel box, and it's a modern panel box. It looks fine. Didn't see any issues with it. Most of the doors need footers underneath them just to help support that threshold.
Mm-hmm.
You get somebody that's really big, stuff on that, they're just the right way, that little threshold will just snap right off, and they even damage something. So pretty much all 3 or 4 of the doors need footers down there. Bunch of loose outlets. On the outside there's some loose outlets, and on the inside there's a bunch of loose outlets. Again, this is something that's very simple. Just take off the cover. There's 2 screws in there.
Mm-hmm.
You tighten down the screws, put the cover back on. So that's something you guys can do yourself. So this may be in the report, but I'm going to show you a bunch of pictures right now. They won't be in the report.
Okay.
That's just the location of it. This is your gas meter. It's located back there. It's really just for me, but I need to tell you that. You would have figured it out probably. This spigot back here is missing a handle.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Okay, so you do have an area where you got what's called high soil, which is I did a termite report. I'll show you where my sticker is in a minute. So anytime you got the soil at or above what's called the brick ledge, where the bricks are on top of the foundation, that's considered a conducive condition for termites. If you're doing a VA loan or FHA loan, even some small banks, they're going to require you to remediate this before they fund the loan. They won't even fund the loan until this is corrected. Any vegetation touching that kind of stuff. Or to treat it, either lower or treat it. In this case, I would probably just do a spot treatment, probably $200, $300. This is the water pressure. The range is 40 to 80, and you guys are about a little bit below 70, about 65-ish. That should be fine for this size house. There's some cracking of the front walkway, which I'm sure you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Anything over an inch is considered a trip hazard, so this is not over an inch. You do need to seal it up though, because it's going to keep on getting worse if you don't seal it. I get another door threshold, front door. You can see I'm pulling the outlet away from the. Okay, now this, let me just show you. Let's walk over here. There are no outlets. What the house would require, I don't know about it, so you don't feel easy. It's not. That's something you may want to think about, either have it installed or just deal with it. Okay, so this is AC differential readings. So the AC differential we're looking for is 15 to 20 degrees. With the new unit, on a day that's not that hot, it really should be closer to 20. But the range is 15 to 20. So we got a 55, this is on the supply. On the return we have a 70, so it's just at this one location is just at 15 degrees. I think I wanted less than that. And this is a loose outlet. Again, all through the inside there's loose outlets. Just a little cracking there. That's new movement, that's recent movement. That's recent movement. That's just we can see you guys there. That's that front bedroom there. More loose outlets. here's another differential, 57 and 71. So that's 14 degrees. So that's actually 1 degree below the range. And there's no filter in there. So having a dirty filter or having no filter can affect the way the system performs. And having a dirty filter or no filter can also damage the system. So we don't know how long it's been going without a filter. So even though the differential's in range, I'm going to call it out for to be at least serviced and evaluated. That way they'll look at the coils, the heat exchangers, and evaluate it some more. This is your air handler furnace. This part looks like it's fairly new, the coil. This looks like it's probably original. There's no usually there's a manufacturer's label, and you can look into the serial number and get the date, but it wasn't on there. They were showing no filter. This is your water heater. It's a 88, so it's 788, so almost exactly 30 years old.
That thing is my age.
Yeah, it's pretty unusual. I've seen older. This is pretty unusual that it's lasted this long. It's been there 12, 15 years. This is pretty impressive, but it's I think this is the TBR. This seized up. It was leaking out on that side. That's something else. Okay, this is your drain pan. Okay, and it's wet outside of this drain, and they didn't cap it off, so the water. So this I can't see underneath there, but the only reason that would be wet right by that would be if the water here is leaking. So it's at the end of the slide.
Yeah.
Oh, this is inside the and they had it off, so we can't check the hot water because it was completely turned on. This is more loose outlets. There's an area in the master look kind of discolored, and when a house gets been remodeled and repainted, especially an older house, one of the first things I think is, is there anything hidden that they cover up mold? So it looks kind of strange to me. So I got out my moisture detector and poked through the gypsum board, and it's not. There's no moisture in it. It was fine. It's just probably just ugly painting. You can see it sticking on the wall. This is in the shower. This grout joint needs to be regrouted or sealed. Right in that corner there. Okay. These are the sinks. Okay, so if you look at the spout, the next picture you'll see it move. See it move back and forth. Okay, so it's loose.
Yeah.
It needs to be tightened up. Both sinks have this corrugated tailpiece. That's an illegal tailpiece. It should be a rigid piece. These pieces can cause the sinks to drain slow. Also, they tend to leak over time. So people do it because it's easier. So both sinks are like that. They did drain fine. The master shower, the handle broke right off as soon as I grabbed it, and this is very loose inside the wall. You can just jiggle it. So they kind of screwed up there. You can see the handle there. This is the exhaust fan in the guest bathroom, and it sounds sick. If you turn it off, it sounds like it's working, but not very. It doesn't sound good. If you can see this is the shower head, and it's leaking up through here. So I think it's just coming from the head. I don't think it's the plumbing. So that shower head probably needs to be replaced. This is another tailpiece that's improper. That's just the sink it's at. This is again to remind you about the missing. Okay, so the garage door opener is not connected to the door, and this lock can't be locked. There's no little latch area for this latch to go into. So the house is basically unlocked. So anyone can go and open that garage.
Oh, okay.
Close it and then break down the door, whatever. So that's something that needs to be fixed. This is the door right here. I'm thinking it's a little bit out of square. So I don't know if this is recent movement, or just they didn't hang it right. But you see, it's tight right through here. And this door is also very tight.
Oh yeah. We just said we realized that when we came inside.
Yeah, this is an easy fix though. It's really, I think you just trim off a little bit of that and just sweep on it. That's the door we were talking about. Dishwasher's not installed.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
So I try to turn it on, and then you can pull it right out of
Awesome. Display only, huh?
Yeah, this. That's just saying it doesn't work. Okay, this is my sticker. It's right under here. This is to show that I did a termite inspection.
Okay.
Okay, so I didn't find any termites. So if you buy the house, I'm going to give you a 1-year termite warranty. It's 1 year from when you close. If you close in the middle of next month, 1 year from that point, you'll have a termite warranty. Any termites show up, you call the phone number here in Dallas, and they'll come treat it for free.
Awesome.
This is in this room here that's damaged, cracked. Right there, right behind the door. This is just to remind me to tell you that I did test the disposal. I filled up the sinks and drained them, ran the disposal at the same time to look for leaks, and there were no leaks. Oh, that's actually something too. Okay, this is the drain line coming off the disposal. They don't have an air gap. They put this where the air gap would normally go. And this is illegal how they're doing it. If you don't do an air gap, then you should do what's called a high loop, where they pull this high up into the top of the cabinet there and create it like a loop. And that's an acceptable replacement for not having an air gap. Or get rid of this and put an air gap there.
Mm-hmm.
Air gaps just protect you from cross-contamination from the disposal and the dishwasher. This is the oven. This is the 4 burners to show that they do work. This is the inside. It was set to 350. And it heated to just a little bit below 350, within the range. The range is 325 to 375. This door isn't locked. Most people looks like they're putting that in
Yeah, it
there.
looks like that makes sense.
Oh, so it doesn't unlock it. I don't like moving it up and down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually,
Oh, yeah.
I think it just slips.
Yeah.
yeah, what people can do, if you don't have that there or a pin or something, actually that's better than a pin. You can push this up, and then when you possibly come, let you into the house.
Oh, wow.
That's no big deal. You just put that thing there. This is the window here left of the fireplace, and the tension bar is broken, so that window won't stay in place. You lift it up, it's going to fall back down.
Oh, okay.
And this type of thing will be in the report. That window right there. Fireplace. The pilot light wasn't lit, so I couldn't test the fireplace. If something's not lit, we don't let it because the house burns to the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get in trouble. So we just want to confirm with the sellers. The inspector said he couldn't test the fireplace. Doesn't work. We want them to say yes or no. I don't know. Doorbell does not work. This is the heating. Okay, so the heating was great. 122. Okay, and then this is the front door. You see the light through here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that you can get bugs, wind-driven rains. Whatever. You're out there with the hose spraying in there. This threshold is adjustable. There's little screws there. You can one direction raises it up, one direction raises it down. So just go to these two located right about here and here, and just move them up a little bit and close the door and make sure it works.
Okay.
Oops. That's the door side. This is in the attic. These are just some pictures of the attic. If you look in the attic, it looks fine. Insulation's a little bit low. The type of insulation they're using, it should be around 7 3/4 inches. And most spots, it's probably 2 or 3, maybe a few places it's a little more than that. So a little extra insulation would be helpful. And that's it.
Cool.
Any questions?
No, I mean, it sounds like most of it's just stuff that we could probably do or talk to the seller.
Yeah, I think the big thing is just when you get just get as much information about the warranty for the foundation as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you read into the small print of that, because they can say repairs are free, but when you get into the small print, they find ways to charge you for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Some warranties are better than others. I'd also find out how it's backed. Is it just a mom and pop that are warranting it, or is it backed by a larger warranty? And then full evaluation of the HVAC, just to be safe, and replacing the water heater. So I would ask for the water heater for sure. A full evaluation of the HVAC, and that's really probably the big things.
Sure.
Everything else is really small. For a house of this age, probably seems like a lot of stuff to you guys, but this is not bad at all.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and stop this.